Have you ever trained like crazy for a charity run?
Yeah.
You know, super excited to support a cause you love. But then when you go to post about it online, you just like totally freeze up.
Yeah.
It's like you want other people to know that you're doing it and maybe inspire them too, but you also don't want to come across as like, look at me, look what I did.
Yeah, you don't want to brag. It's a real dilemma, and there's actually a name for it, the braggart's dilemma.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. Luckily, some really smart researchers over at MISQ Quarterly, they dove into all of this, and their article, Navigating the Digital Terrain of Prosocial Disclosures and Likability, which sounds really jargony.
It does.
But it's actually super fascinating and packed with really useful tips.
I'm glad you said that because that's what we're diving into today. Yeah. We are going to break down how to talk about doing good online in a way that feels genuine and actually makes a difference.
Absolutely.
And one of the most surprising things to me was how important it is to emphasize effort. It's not about bragging, it's about showcasing the commitment behind your actions.
Exactly. The study found that people respond way more positively to posts that highlight the effort involved in a good deed.
So true. Like, think about it. You'll be way more impressed if someone like baked 200 cupcakes from scratch for a bake sale than someone who just bought a bunch at the store.
Oh, for sure.
And it's the same thing online. People want to see that this cause really matters to you.
Yeah.
And this doesn't just mean like physical effort. It's not just about running a mile versus walking for charity. Even though the study did find that that small distinction made a difference in how many likes those posts got.
Interesting.
It's also the time you spend like organizing a donation drive or researching the best charity to support, or even just like consistently and passionately advocating for a cause online.
Right.
It all counts. The key is figuring out how to convey that effort authentically without, sounding like a braggart.
Exactly.
So it's not enough to just like do something good. We also have to be mindful of how we present it online.
That's right. And that's where this research gets even cooler. They actually found that expressing gratitude was even more impactful than just highlighting the effort alone.
Oh, really? I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, like you might be thinking, well, isn't thanking people just good manners?
Right.
Yeah, and of course it is. But the research actually goes deeper into something called attribution theory. Basically, when you express sincere gratitude, you're shifting the focus away from yourself. You make it more about the collective effort. It's less, look at me, look what I did, and more, look what we did together.
Right, it's more inclusive.
Exactly. And people respond to that. They really do. In fact, they tested this out by comparing posts that just mentioned a sponsor to those that specifically thanked them. And guess what? Sometimes just tagging a company or an organization without actually expressing gratitude could backfire and lead to fewer likes.
Well, really, I had no idea.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, right? So, like, imagine you see two posts about some charity walkathon. Oh. One person just tags the shoe company that sponsored the event, and that's it. The other person is like, feeling so grateful for shoe company for supporting this amazing cause and making it all possible.
Yeah. The second one definitely feels more, I don't know, genuine, I guess.
Exactly. And it's probably going to make you want to get involved too, right?
For sure.
That's the gratitude paradox at work. When you only mention the sponsor and you don't say thank you, it can subtly make it seem like their involvement was the only reason you participated.
Like you weren't actually in it for the cause.
Right. And it can make your actions seem less authentic, even if you don't mean it to.
Wow. So it can actually undermine the good deed you're trying to share.
Exactly. And that's where expressing gratitude becomes so powerful, when you thank the sponsors, the organizers, the volunteers, everyone who helped make it happen. You're highlighting those shared values.
You're showing it was a group effort.
Exactly. And it reinforces that idea that you were motivated by something bigger than yourself.
Okay, but I have a question.
Yeah.
Like, what if the company you want to thank maybe, isn't exactly known for being, like, the most ethical? Should you still thank them? Wouldn't that make you look bad?
Yeah, that's a really good point, and it's something they actually looked at in this research. They were curious about how people would respond to posts that thanked less popular sponsors. So maybe a company with a bit of a controversial past or something like that.
Okay, yeah.
And you know what they found? Even then, expressing gratitude was still a better strategy than not mentioning those sponsors at all.
Really? Wow, that's so interesting. I figured people would think you were, like, endorsing their bad behavior or something.
I know, right? It seems kind of counterintuitive. But it seems like no matter what, when you acknowledge other people's contributions, even if those people aren't perfect, it reflects positively on your character. It shows that you're someone who recognizes and appreciates effort, even when things aren't ideal.
So even if people are like, yeah, that company's kind of shady, they're still going to see you as a good person just because you thank them.
Exactly. It reinforces that idea that you're coming from a good place.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So how can we take all of this and use it? Like, what are some concrete takeaways for our listeners?
Well, first off, don't be afraid to talk about how much work went into your good deed, whether it's training for that marathon, organizing a clothing drive, or even just reading up on the issues. Let people see that dedication.
Show your work.
Exactly. Yeah. And never underestimate the power of saying thank you. Make it a habit to thank everyone who played a role in your good deed, big or small. And don't just give a generic thanks to all involved, get specific.
Yeah, give a shout out.
Right. Share a story about how a certain volunteer went above and beyond, or how a specific donation really made a difference. Those personal touches, they transform a post from bragging into a story that people can connect with.
Totally. And then the last thing I would say, and this is so important, be authentic. Don't just try to check all the boxes. You know what I mean?
Right.
Let your passion shine through and use your own voice.
Absolutely. Because people can always spot a phony. But genuine enthusiasm, that's contagious.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
So next time you're about to hit that post button, just remember what we've talked about today. Highlight your effort, express gratitude, and let your true self shine through. You might just inspire others to do some good too.
Yeah, definitely.
And that is what it's all about, right?
Yeah.
Using your platform, no matter how big or small, to make a difference.
Love it.